So welcome back to our Puredata tutorial. So in today's exercise, we are going to investigate the use of the other forms of graphical user interface. So instead of using those provided by the Puredata, we'll make use of the external inputs such as your mouse and your keyboard. For the first one, we come back to the use of fixed frame objects. So that is, we would like to use an object to display a movie, a digital movie. So we go back to this particular exercise. We have a fixed frame, and then the image of the frame will map on top of a rectangle through the use of a fixed texture command. So in order to display a frame, we need to open the digital video. That is put on the same folder of that particular page. And we also make use of another message called the auto to control the start and the stop of that particular movies. So if you remember, this $1 is actually a parameter, and by putting a toggle over here, we'll pass the number either 0 or 1 to this $1 parameter. And together with the auto command, it's formed auto 0 or auto 1 and is passed to the fixed frame to stop and start playing of that particular movie. We'll have a look of this particular one. So this is the start with the cross inside and stop without the cross inside. And as I mentioned, when you're working with your performance or other forms of artwork display, so it's not likely that you allow the user or yourself to go back to the page and to click on the graphical interface again and again in order to control the display in this particular window. So lots of time the user or the audience, they will just see this particular window with the graphics without this page, and each one will be hidden away from the user, and all the interface will be reside in this particular window. So what we are going to do is to enable the use of the button, such as the mouse button and also the keyboard within this particular window. The first command we introduce is the use of the mouse, which has a name called gemmouse, gemmouse. And if you take a look of this particular object, which come with altogether 5 outlets, and the order of the outlets will be, the first 2 of them will be a number that represent the X and Y position in terms of the pixel, and the 3 of the others in the remaining part will be the left, middle, and the right button, and they all come with this particular number box over here. And before we start with the actual operation, we would like to display the output of this particular outlet. The first 2 of them will be the X and Y position of the mouse. And the rest of the 3 of them will be just a number between, or actually either 0 and 1. So we use a toggle instead of a number box right here. So depending on the configuration of the mouse, it has a maximum of 3 such buttons. So without connecting them to the actual operation or the function of the fixed frame, we'll have a look of the demonstration what the gemmouse objects will generate. So you also need to pay attention that if you would like to see the effect of the gem mouse or even gem keyboard, you need to click on this particular window, the display window or the graphical window called the gem. And within this window, it only makes sense the value of the mouse. So you can have a look of the change in the value from, for example, top left corner with the smaller numbers towards the bottom right corner with both of them increased to a number close to 500. And for the rest of the display from the third, fourth, and the fifth outlet, you can have a look of the information which is controlled by the clicking of which button on your mouse. By making use of the mouse, we would like to, for example, replace this particular graphical user interface, the toggle, which is connected to the auto command. We'll move them around and such that we can connect the first mouse, so this is the third outlet, directly to the toggle of the auto message. So I'll move away the other outlet in order to have a look of the behavior. I'll start by clicking the Open This Movie. And we go back to this particular display window. So you can have a look. Initially, the movie stopped right here because we don't have an value 1 sent to the auto command. But when I just click on the mouse, the left mouse of the mouse, and the third outlet will generate a 1 command to the toggle box, and it will send to the auto message and it will pass to the pix film objects in order to play back the movie. So if I release the mouse, and you can see at this particular location the toggle, so that the cross disappear, which represents a 0 value, passes to the auto message right here, and it's a way to stop the playback of this particular movie called the dishes.mov. So you can have a look of the starting and stopping of this movie by using the leftmost button of the mouse. So other than connecting the button outlet directly to the toggle command, we can also make use of other connection. In the second version of this particular patch, we would like to add a little bit more complexity. So I disconnect this one. And before I connect the mouse outlet to this particular toggle operation, we would like to introduce another command. And this command we call the select objects. So if you are familiar with the computer programming, select is something similar to an if statement. So it's altogether is a kind of if a value equal to something, and then you perform a task. For the operation of this particular select object, you specify a sequence of number or symbol right here. So in this simple example, I just put in a 1 over here, and then I connect the mouse outlet, that is the mouse button over here. So the interpretation of this one is the mouse button will send a message which is a value either 0 or 1. So for value 1 is indicate clicking on a button, And the operation of this object is whenever that value is 1, it will trigger a band in the first outlet. And if there are other input other than the value 1, so the second outlet, which is equal to or roughly equal to the else statement of an if command, it will send out a band through this particular outlet. And in this case, we'll connect the first one, that is the value equal to 1, as a band to this particular toggle box. And the result is whenever you click on the left mouse button, it will generate a 1, and it will toggle between 0 and 1 of this particular toggle box. So we have a look at this particular operation. So in the very beginning, so if I do not click the mouse at any point of time, it remains a still photo. So when I click on the mouse button, it will generate a 1 value, and it will pass through a band command to trigger it become a 1. It is sent through the auto message and then go over to the pix film command. So the film will continue to play in the form of a loop. And if you would like to stop it, you click on the mouse the second time, and it will again send out a 1 over here. And the 1 over here will trigger another band. We will toggle the box from 1 to 0, and the 0 will pass through the auto command to the pix film and then stop the playing back of this particular movies. So this is the operation or second form of operation. You can have a look. So the first one is whenever you press the button, you start the movie to play, and when you release the button, it stops. So the second form is a toggle. You click and then it start to play, and then whenever you click again the second time, it stop playing back of that particular movie. So in this short exercise, we demonstrate the use of the gemmouse command in form of a button. So the other button, for example, the middle one and also the right mouse button, you can also have similar operation. And the next exercise, we're going to investigate the use of these two number box over here, the X and the Y position.